Hello and welcome back to BTY. So today we're here with another BTY podcast interview here in Rehoboth, and this is Jeffrey that's sitting next to me. I'll have him give himself a more firm introduction, but yeah, he's got our attention because he's started playing rugby and he started doing really well within it, and we just want to hear his story on rugby in general. So Jeffrey, how's it going, man?
It's fine, man. Tired, very
Yeah.
tired much. Like I said, you introduced me, my name, and so forth. There isn't really much to say in it, really. I play for Rehoboth Rugby Club. I am 21, even though I look older, but yeah, let's just ignore that. Yeah, that's about it. We'll just dive deeper in and conversate on what you asked.
Okay, cool. So yeah, now you've mentioned that you play for Rehoboth Rugby Club, and being in the rugby club now, playing in our domestic league here in Namibia, how have you experienced the Rehoboth, like playing rugby in Rehoboth itself, but also just how the league is set up in Namibia?
Daniel, it's not easy. It's not easy. Well, it's easy if you think about it that way. That like if I don't know, but
Yeah, you can
if
go in Afrikaans as well.
okay, so like you have to be physical. You need to be built physical. Obviously, in the beginning of the season, I was not the ideal lock. Sorry, I play lock 8 and 7. Yeah, it's not easy. Like you have to be a physical player. You have to build muscle gain, even though in ik het mos nog 'n bietjie opgetel and so on. But over in general, what pushed me is that my dad asked me, like, I used to be a football player until I got an ACL injury, or I don't know if it's ankle. Yeah,
Mm.
it's ankle injury. I started studying, and somewhere in last year, I tried, miskien bietjie weer in sport deelneem en daai goed. Toe het hy gesê nou rugby was always like I grew up with rugby. I grew up being an All Black. I grew up being a DHL Stormer fan, so there was always hate towards South Africans,
Yeah, yeah.
even though he is a South African. But overall, I used to play rugby on primary school level, and when I came to Rehoboth, I was at Remte Primary School. The coaches they weren't easy on you. If you
Mm.
didn't do it their way, it's gone. So after that, I started, making friends with Cody and a lot of other people also in Rehoboth, and they started asking me, "Do you play football?" And I was like, "Yeah, here and there," and so on. The love just grew for football. I still have love for football, but I don't think in Namibia we have the, how can you say, the facilities to grow and all that stuff. So yeah, on rugby I actually used to play a winger,
Okay, okay.
even though I'm
Yeah.
a forward now.
Yeah. And what would you say? So, is it this year that you started playing seriously and played a full season, or did you start playing last year for Rehoboth Rugby Club?
This is my first season. Overall, in general, this was my first season actually taking rugby serious. Like I said, all the years I've been a football addict. Obviously football fan. Even though I'm not gonna say my team that I support, even though
Yeah.
they won today, go Man United. But overall, this was my first season. It was
Mm.
my first season, and it was tough. It will always be tough. Like self doubts obviously played a role.
Yeah.
You have to have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. So yeah, I joined this year. I started as lock. Like I said, also mentioned is that on school level I wasn't seen or given the exposure or given time to play. So I just thought, nah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. And since you've been playing now for the season, tell us a bit about the start of the season, and then you can integrate us into mid-season and how you grew as a player. Because you mentioned that it's your first season, so it mustn't have been easy to get into the setup of rugby, and it must have taken a while to actually get accustomed to. training on a full-time basis as well?
So my first season, I was pretty like I had self-doubt a lot because I
Mm.
was skinny.
Yeah.
I couldn't really afford the gym, so I started training at home, doing jogs and stuff. It was, it's not easy joining a rugby club because daai manne is mos klaar in 'n stelsel en wat hulle weet. I go to the gym this time. I do that. I go for jogs, and touches and so forth.
Mm.
But I'm a very shy person when it comes to those stuff. So
Mm.
like even at clubs and stuff, I'll be shy as hell and like, oh nah, I don't think they
Yeah.
would F of me and all that stuff. So yeah, it was hard because I had like what was it like population when you're in a group of people, that type of anxiety.
Okay, yeah, social anxiety.
Yeah, I had social anxiety, so it was hard for me to fit in with the players. Most of the players I knew. So yeah, and okay, let's just go to the start of the season. So I went with Fenicio.
Mm.
We first planned that we would see what type of club would fit us in. Ek het gevra like nou wat ons by Rehoboth gaan of ons by Falcons gaan. En hulle sê like dit maak nie saak waar nie.
Mm.
Sodra ons die ding begin, because I want to take it seriously.
Yeah.
We started the first week at Rehoboth. That's my home now.
Okay.
That's my home now. And when I told my dad that I'm at Rehoboth, he told me that Jod Opperman is. I was like, who's Jod Opperman?
Mm.
Now, for you that don't know who Jod Opperman is, it's a national player of Namibia. He's currently a bodybuilder also.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So he's tough in the training sessions and stuff.
Mm.
He doesn't have mercy and stuff. Ik vraag hom nou wie's Jod Opperman? He said, nah, gaan kyk net. Waar ek by die veld kom sien ek, dis die oom wat wil gaan ry. Ek
Uh,
op 12 jaar oud begin 'n gym en so aan. Hy het my nie geherken nie.
mm.
Fine, ons kom daar and it was weird.
Yeah.
It was real weird because I'm not used to a rugby session.
Mm.
Football it's anders dan. Cones, shooting posts, shooting drills. Rugby jy moet meeste van hierdie hardloop.
Yeah.
So what I told myself is that even though I'm not physically built, I know what to do with the ball.
Mm.
I can think on my feet, so maybe that will help. Okay, ons begin nou oefen en wanneer was dit wat coach ons nou obviously vir my gevra het op PCA and so on. Like Coach Jod isn't really a person that would remember names.
Yeah.
So hy het vir ons noemname gegee. And at the time, obviously, I was skinny and hy het op my naam gekry.
Mm.
Toe roep hy my Langbes.
Okay.
So almal was so lag op my en vra wie's Langbes? And like it obviously irritated me van
Mm.
ek is 'n mens wat nie regtig, hoe kan ek sê? Ek hou nie daarvan as mense my kog gee. So ek raak vanaf wat I'm short tempered. You know that since Rehoboth private school. So it stuck with the name just stuck. Like
Mm.
my IG is also Vesto, so it just stuck. Okay, so we're just gonna go forward to the training session and stuff. We started training. Like fitness isn't something new to me. Like I love doing it. Like veral in die oggende as jy sommer ons oefen vanaand. Môreoggend is jy in die gym of sorry, no. That's actually confusing. Sê maar nou jy oefen vanaand, môreoggend voel jy daai pyn. Dan voel jy ek het iets gedoen.
Mm.
Verstaan jy? So
Yeah.
yeah, obviously he being a bodybuilder, he het weights gebring na die veld toe. Me not being used to carrying weights,
Yeah.
especially because I was like 3 or 5 years old at the gym. And obviously I adapt because I adapt quickly
Mm.
and all that stuff. And yeah, it was the following week of the tennis side, the Castlelight tennis side series. And he said, nah, he gaan 'n span bymekaar trek. Hy gaan 2 spanne wees. Obviously, I didn't have my hopes up for the first team.
Yeah.
Because like I see these guys like Raiz, Lillian, Brandon, all these two Eddies that was with me on Dr. Lemma.
Yeah.
He's also one of the reasons that I joined. Even though what was it? One day I worked at a liquor store
Yeah.
and I went in for the first shift. So I stopped at Puma and he told me like, I asked him like in a joke, Miskien moet ek ook kom zijn.
Mm.
Maar dan zei hij, kom.
Yeah.
And when was it that he called and also said, like, in the beginning of the year, toen hij mij gevraagd, was hij? Ik was on like, bro, I'm studying. He said, yeah,
Yeah.
just voor mij gezegd, je zal veel toekomen. It's like, okay, cool. My bad. But, okay, forward to the Castlelight thing aside. I had my hopes up for at least a bench warmer on the
Yeah.
second team.
Yeah.
Weeks goes on, I train. And as soon as peak week comes, I just, making myself known, I'm making my presence known.
Yeah.
I don't come up late to practices. Since then, I've never been late to practice. I've always been the first one. Yeah. And peak week comes on Thursday. I'm on my like last nerves.
Yeah.
Because like for me, isn't it like as ik nog gekies for me,
Mm.
I'm going back to football or I'm trying something else.
Yeah.
The management president Marcel Diergaard, he came and read out the team sheets. Obviously, the first team, congratulate and stuff. And I was busy lacing up my boots
Mm.
because I thought, okay, now I'm not gonna put my mind to it or really care.
Yeah.
And my name was called. I was like, what? And I asked the team manager Ronaldo, like, I said, let me see. I was like, okay, it's last, so
Yeah.
maybe I'm one of the reserves or benches, or yeah, it's cool. The Castle Light tennis side comes. We obviously I couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
I was excited, and yeah, we came together at Puma. People, the guys started talking with me, socializing and all that stuff, and I was like, okay, nah, maybe I can call them my brothers one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we arrived in Windhoek. Our first game was against Ludred's Ocean Swallows. So we were busy prepping and stuff, and I'm still getting to know people and all that stuff. And the team sheets came out, like the team that starts playing and stuff. So I was out of my zone because I thought, okay, my name was second last, so
Yeah. You might not start the game.
yeah, so my name appears second on the team sheet. I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. So I was warming up and stuff, and obviously the teams were called out and say, okay, Rehoboth 2, Luderitz, Ocean Swallows. No, I was hella nervous because it's all eyes on me. I'm not used to people watching me like that. So
Yeah.
I was afraid that might like knock the
Mess
ball or
up or something.
something.
Yeah.
And before halftime, I'll see if I can find the clip. You can just put it in. Ludwig's got a yellow card, so they were men shot. Shaquille January,
Yeah.
he picked up the ball, tap, gave it to Xavier, and then at Denver, he just told me like voor Shaquille even die ball getik het, die meneer gesê like gaan diep, gaan net diep. So I was like, oh, I see the whole. So I thought he was gonna be selfish and just go because he's experienced.
Yeah.
Like Benduk Hanasium, he even played in the first team this year.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I see the ball coming to me. In my kop en sê ek net hierdie vang. And yeah, that was my first debut. I scored a try, and people didn't really, believe me when I said that I have no experience in rugby.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I started the season off of a try. Even though I don't really count it as a try because it wasn't in the in the league because
In
it
the
doesn't
15 aside, yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
it doesn't count. So yeah, that was my start to Rehoboth Rugby Club.
Okay, now proud of you, man, for even taking the steps to getting out of your comfort zone and trying something new. That's very much important, and even mentioning that you are more on the introverted spectrum, so it's difficult to get into the rugby setup where there's a lot of guys and it's all these masculine blokes like jocks. Sometimes you can call it that. And yeah, congrats on
They aren't
even
really
making it.
jokes. They are softies. They are softies. Like I know these dudes. I
Yeah.
thought like they will be Lizal technique based and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, they're soft. They're nice people.
That's cool,
I
man.
can call them my brothers.
Yeah, and it's also cool to hear from the outside because usually there's this perception around rugby players, but even seeing like the loss of Etienne, them, Ethan,
Yeah,
Edmundo earlier this year, Greshlan, Robert, like the way the rugby like community came up for that, you can see that it becomes more than just playing a game of rugby, but it becomes a family and it becomes a close knitted bond. So
yeah,
that
it's
that's
true.
that's nice.
Like ek was nogals ek het dit gevoel
Yeah.
when I heard the news. Like it means who will be playing? Ons het teen Grootfontein gespeel.
Mm.
Is nee nie Grootfontein, Unam, dit was teen Unam. Ons het hier so gespeel vir Cameron se Cup of
Yeah.
Orange Cup. The next morning I woke up, I was like ek het een van die spanmaats se statuses gesien. Dus ek van
Mm.
like die caption was Rehoboth dit bloei vandag voor Rehoboth.
Mm.
And
Mm.
obviously I was like it's gotta be deaf.
Yeah.
It ain't talking much. Toe sien ek dis like ek het eers het Mando se piek gesien.
Mm.
Dus ek van like I see this dude every day.
Yeah.
Dis vreemd. Toe hoor ek like is even net ook afgestel.
Mm.
Even I see it at the gym all the time. Greshland, I didn't really know.
Mm.
But like the stuff I heard about him, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was like obviously everybody knows Denzel and stuff, but I didn't know it was his brother until I saw that.
Yeah.
Om Etienne het ek ook baie in Rehoboth gesien.
Mm.
He wasn't an ugly person. He had nice manners, man.
Yeah.
So dit is seer like om te dink like die sokker is dit ook so. Maak nie saak
Mm.
wie die mens was. As jy die sport gespeel het en jy het al gesels om jy ken iemand
Mm.
dis deel die gaan kry net hy gevoel en so.
Yeah, and it cuts deep. Yeah, so just a shout out to them as well. And also getting into mid-season, like how have you grown? Have you also gotten up to the reserves for first team or started like playing for them as well? Or how does it look?
I started my first game as a lock
Yeah.
against Dolphins. That ek het dit ook nie verwag dat ek gaan
Mm.
start nie. Like I said, it's not that I had hopes,
Mm.
but like there's this one saying that Zendaya said in Experiment. So if you don't expect, or I don't know how the saying goes, but don't always have expectations.
Yeah.
If you don't have expectations, you won't be disappointed.
Yes.
That's the word. So I did my thing. I went to practice. You know, obviously it's some soccer talks that it talks. So my scrummaging, it was nah. It's not something we would talk about.
Yeah.
So first game against Dolphins, name was called. Again, I didn't have hope for first team
Yeah.
because I know I'm not ready for the tempo.
Mm.
Not gonna lie, I was lost in the first half because 15 is like there are a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And my first game was a 10-a-side game. So I was like, okay, nee, that's passie, ek kan doen wat ek wil and so on. And as we were jogging on, I don't know if you know Meneer Morgan.
Yeah.
So it was weird because I'm playing a game against my used to be math teacher.
Yeah.
So he recognized me, he smiled at me. I was like, don't do this, please.
Yeah.
Not now. So yeah, the game went well. We ended off with a win. Obviously, daar's dinge wat ek moes gewoon van geraak het.
Yeah.
Like overcoming the fear of tackling someone.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's something you have to like go into autopilot, just do it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And it took me 4 or 5 games to overcome it.
Mm.
And obviously, meneer Morgan het sy ding teruggekry.
Mm.
I was busy tackling a ball and he hit me hard off the shoulder against my
Yeah.
neck. So I mean it's part of the game. Obviously I got mad. I was like, dude, it's my first game. Be easy on it. But that said, it's rugby.
Mm.
You have to get used to it.
Yeah.
And next game was Grootfontein. It was my first time even going to Grootfontein.
Mm.
Because I never knew how Grootfontein looked. Ek het net gehoor like it's klomp landies.
Yeah.
There's klomp witnesses.
Alright.
And when I told my cousin Audrey Mouton, big shout out to him too, also a role model in my books for getting me into the sport again. I told him, nee, die eerste game of my tweede game is teen Grootfontein. Vry, speel julle by die huis of in Grootfontein? Nee, is van Grootfontein. Eerste wat hy my sê like pak vir jou genoeg kos in. En is van
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
tweede wat hy my gesê het is like, skiet die mense doof. Grootfontein se mense hou van taunting and stuff. And it's actually a big role in rugby right now. Like, you have to ignore the crowd.
Yes.
Jy kan nie, as jy besig aan die veld en daai mense, ja, so massa wat, of jy kan nie 'n bal vang nie. Jy moet net
Yeah.
doorskiet.
Yeah.
Jy kan nie midveld na daai mense toe wil sê en gaan hoe lyk hierso as dit
Yeah.
gaan nie en so aan. So Grootfontein comes a very physical game. I still remember it as if it was yesterday.
Mm.
Ek het nie my neef se raad gevat van
Kos in
kos
pakkie.
en pakkie. So obviously in the mornings I take my coffee and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it was a hell of a long drive. And I didn't have cash on me.
Mm.
So it was heavy. I played a full 90-minute game on an empty stomach.
Sure.
It's not easy. Like
Yeah.
the warming up a bit, like when we were on the bus, the guys, we would talk and stuff.
Yeah.
Jy sal nie honger kry nie en plus jy ken nou man deel mos die kos hier. So jy moet mos ook klaar eet by die service dan moet jy gaan en die ding is ons was ook nog laat geweest, so ons moes deurgejaag het.
Yeah.
So daar was nie nog van skien dorpie vir hom gestop en goed en nie so.
Mm.
Obviously, kos was nie ingepak nie. We were busy warming up to slaan like call me.
Yeah.
So ek het die hele tyd water net like die mag vol kan wees en so aan. The game started, like I was so delusional of hunger that I forgot my mouth guard, my scrum cap het losgesit. Ek was van like, damn bro, get your head in the game.
Yeah.
Maar gelukkig het my sak ook net daar by die bench gesit. Halftime kom ons het agtergeloop en like receiving a bump of while your head isn't in the game,
It's hard.
toe kop gaan maak so. Jy weet nie waar is jy nie. But I had
Yeah.
to push through. It's what my coach believes in me, so I had to do it. Halftime comes, the team manager brings orange slices. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heavenly Father. You heard my cries. After that, I switched on. I took my mouth guard and we pulled the win through.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to hear about the other games that made me overcome my fear of tackling.
Yeah. So what I actually wanted to ask you about next is, seeing that you are fully committed to rugby now, what's your future goals looking like within the sport? What's your goals for next year?
My goals for next year is to obviously bulk. I'm on my way there. Stadig maar seker as ek daar.
Yeah.
I actually want to take it step for step, Ek is al raak gesien. Ek is al eerste span toe getrek, maar ek het die game gespeel hulle. Maar ek sal liewer sê my ding is my schedule is om te speel die eerste span game, fully tempo. But my future goal is to at least represent Namibia in a World Cup with my cousin in Edward.
Okay, that's big dreams, and you shouldn't also just let it stay a dream. You should let it become a reality as well. So push, don't give up on that. And then yeah, so what I've heard from you today is as well that it's important to have the discipline, like you said, being on time, showing up early, being consistent with that, being consistent in the gym, working out. On like, how do you even balance the rugby with, you're busy with your studies as well?
Yeah.
In what year,
It's my third year.
Third year. So you're almost done.
Yeah, it's pushing until next year June, but
Okay.
I'll see how things work out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So what have you put in place to balance it out?
Obviously, with the studying, I moved to distance
Mm.
because committing to Windhoek every day it can be tiring.
Yeah.
So I moved to distance. My morning routine stays normal. Wake up, eat, study. Sometimes I don't
Yeah.
study because
We don't study every day.
Yeah, but obviously, like IT isn't easy. It's not easy, but like it's very complicated
Yeah.
because when you're distance, you have to have the self discipline too, and that's something I had to learn on the hard way.
Yeah.
So like right now, I think 20 days late over an assignment. So
Yeah.
we once do your stuff on time. Do not delay stuff. Don't say, nah, I'm gonna do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow turns into 20 days.
Mm.
So yeah, obviously studying and stuff, like I have a whole day until 6 o'clock
Yeah.
to do something. So when the clock says six, I'm walking from home. That's before my dad, like, like voor my pa in die rugby gekom het,
Mm.
om dit so te stel. En ek maar altyd geloop of ek het nie so lief of wat. So, maak nie saak of Benicio nie uitgekom het hier. I walked.
Yeah.
I walked, even though if I was the first one there,
Mm.
I keep myself busy. I lace up my boots, I go for jogs and stuff until the whole team comes. If coach come, ons kom by mekaar, ons praat die dinge uit, and yeah, we
Yeah.
go to work.
Okay. That's cool, man. Yeah. So the last question I'd want to ask is, so you've mentioned that there's the fear of tackling that you have to overcome the physicality that's within rugby.
Yep.
So, like, what other things did you also need to overcome, and also maybe routines or like a certain mindset did you put in place so that you can perform well in the sport and stay within it?
Daar is 'n gesegde wat ons in die klub sê of as ons by mekaar kom voor die game. Ek weet nog nie of ek dit mag sê nie.
Mm.
Hart, siel en piel.
Okay.
Soos coach Jood sê, ons moet balans wees vandag.
Yeah.
That's all where you have to show your manliness, you have to show your testosterone levels are
Yeah.
high. You have to show that you're not like Tiji Bangi. Because as soon as you show fear, my friend, you will always come last.
Yeah.
You will not overcome it. So the game that made my tackling fears go away was Kudus.
Okay.
Yeah,
What happened
Kudus.
there?
Kudus. I wouldn't say I don't like them, but I hate their fans.
Yeah.
Like the players that they're nice, they have all the
Mm.
stuff, and the song that keeps on playing that after they scored it still traumas me today.
Yeah.
So what went down there is that I don't know. I just really hated Kudus.
Mm.
Like the things I've heard, the way they treat players and stuff. It's one of the challenges you have to overcome because not always every fan or not fan but like crowd you will play in front of will be nice to you.
Yeah.
So Kudus feels like yesterday. Do you know William Clausen?
Yes. Yes.
So in my head before ons like opgedraf het ek gecheck like okay, I have to step on, I have to up
Yeah.
my game. Obviously taunting on the field is one of the challenges you also have to overcome because players will try to get in your head.
Yeah.
Trust me, they will do anything to get in your head. Ek het later geleer om doof te skiet en net te wees like of as hulle 'n fout maak net kyk en laugh, the death stare and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So die game begin en dis die eerste keer wat ek sommer ook nog 'n goeie vriend vandag, Asher. Ons noem hom Eggy op die veld.
Mm-mm.
Asher hy push my ook baie op die veld.
Yeah.
Al vloek hy, al sê my jy moet dan nou iets maak met daai. What kind?
Yeah.
Like he's also like a type of mentor to me on the field.
Mm.
So die spanlys word uitgegee. Ek het nie geweet William gaan in die klas like William gaan op die spanlys wees nie.
Mm-mm.
Tot ons opgewaar en sien ek okay, nee, Weezy sommer ons. The impact he also had on the field, like this man, like I don't know that side of him.
Yeah.
Die man kyk my in die oë en sê jy sal jou gat begin moet roer.
Yeah.
Jy sal moet begin tackle. And like that was a wake up call to me. And
Yeah.
shout out to Weezy, like for real, like
Also a good friend of mine.
yeah, it opened my mind. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we
Mm.
wasting time? Hoekom is jy dan op die veld as jy nie moet
Yeah.
tackle nie? After the second half, we obviously het ek mos nou my vinger uit, jy weet wat uitgetrek.
Yeah.
Mos nou begin doen wat hy gevra het. Toe het hy my gesê like ons het verloor vandag, maar ek
Yeah.
hoop net dit maak oop.
Mm.
So we move on. The next game was again Western Suburbs. My pa het eintlik vir Western Suburbs gespeel. Hy was een van die legends daar.
Yeah.
So obviously ek het hom 'n bietjie gekol en gesê, sorry, nie vandag nie, of nie hierdie naweek nie.
Yeah.
So Weezy het weer met ons gespeel en voor ons opgetrap het hy my gesê like, jy weet wat het laaste gebeur.
Yeah.
You know what happened. And so I'm like, no. And it was the first time like playing without a scrum cap. Like being a lock, it's not easy. You have to push your head through two fives of like two fifties. And I would not recommend any tall guy playing lock because Brady Rega wat man up in a crazy. Like it's not like fatty dom of iets, maar like look, I enjoy scrumming. It's one of them. I think it's, in my opinion, it's one of the most manliest thing you can do. Like contest each other's power. Maar ons gebruik toch seep of iets. Like damn. Like that's daar waar ek ook voel like, okay, scrum, we can dominate this.
Yeah.
But jy sal later gaan vatvol raak as jy sien like jy's besig met 'n scrum, jy lig jou kop op en sien die bolle daar genok.
Yeah.
Like, I will get into that story later on, but let me just finish this Western Suburbs story. So ons draf op en hy sê vir my like, jy weet waarom jy doen, so don't be. And as you saw on my social media that ek word baie gebruik in die lane staan.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing it. Like my count up to the lineouts I've stolen, which is not our ball, was I think like 20 times.
Sure. Solid on that, man.
So
Yeah.
okay, the game begins and I made my first successful tackle, not a slipping, not anything. The dude stopped right there. But it's also where I started getting confident with the ball, making line breaks and all that type of stuff. And after that, he gave me the nod and said, "Keep it up." And it was the second half. I put on my scrum cap again because stripping wasn't really helping.
Yeah.
And we got the ball. Like we were dominating the game. It was a nice game. It's one of my best, not one of my best games, but I'll put it up there. Like I made 3 solid carries that actually made my dad like drop a tear. I was
Yeah.
like, don't do that to me now. Don't, because I don't like showing emotions. And I was like,
Yeah.
don't do that to me now. But yeah, after that Western Suburbs game, I backed up. Like I stood up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, so it's been great hearing from you. So, what's the last thing you'd want to say to our audience here today or this evening, I must say?
I would say don't let fear stand in your way.
Yeah.
Don't let your circumstances stand in your way. Like there's a lot I would want to say. I don't know the time limit of the podcast. There are a
Yeah.
few games that I want to share
Yeah.
and said like the setbacks and challenges that I had to went through. But I'm gonna just put that little bit of, audience saying. So when we played Western Suburbs in the second round, I dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah.
Obviously it that had me mentally geraakt.
Mm.
And the next weekend we would play Falcons, which is the Rehoboth Derby,
Yeah, bro.
the other team in Rehoboth. So I made peace with it. I was like, okay, cool. I won't be playing the Derby. During the week, my shoulder started healing. I'm not sure if it nou recht terug in gesit is nie. And tomorrow ons nou die game speel and so on. And I was like chilling. I was like, nah, ek gaan kyk die game, ek is rustig.
Yeah.
Friday morning, staan op, ek vra my pa, is hulle gereed? Hy sê vir my, jy moet speel. Ek was van like, don't joke like that. Don't joke like that. He
Yeah.
was like, you have to play. I looked at him. I was like, you sure? I saw like, no, this dude is serious.
Yeah.
Toe coach Jood my gebel en gevra, grote hoeveel die skouer. Hy was van like, I can't move it. Vra ek hom, coach, ek hoor ek moet dan speel. Hy sê, nah, die ander slot se rib het gekrak. So, hy's uit vir die season. I hope he gets well soon.
Crazy.
Though.
Yeah.
I was like, just give me 1 minute. So ek was daar in my kamer met die gewigte.
Yeah.
Heel dit so, making sure it can impact and stuff and all that stuff. So the night before Falcons, I've been mentally preparing myself and all that stuff. die game kom en it's net 'n ander vibe. It's not like the first time we or like the first game we lost against them.
Mm.
That was my first derby and we lost it. So I was like in my head, like, you know what happened, you know what you did wrong, you know everything what happened, just do what you gotta do. Ons het die drie daai geding. Ek dink jy was I think you were there.
I was at the game.
Yes, yeah, you
Yeah, at
were
your
there.
home game. Yeah, I was there.
So it's
It was a fun game. Interesting.
it
A lot
was
happened.
a lot after the game happened, but we don't talk about that.
Okay.
um, yeah, we didn't really score, but Denver with the conversions all the way,
Yeah.
and it was at the end of the game somewhere. Like we were in our half, and I was like, I was tired. I
Mm.
kon nie meer nie. Toe Joshua Tira, like big ups my guy Josh for that assist. Like Jason het geskree rooi 9 en rooi 10. Rooi 9 beteken ek kom van die scrum ja. Rooi
Mm.
10 like beteken ek kom van die 10 af. So I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna fall down, place the ball and kick it out. Ek kry die bal, ek maak 'n leeg step.
Mm.
Like ek voel niks hier by. Ek wonder like don't step early. I
Uh,
lift my head up, I see an open space. I was like,
yeah.
I ain't
Go
stop,
for it.
I ain't stopping now. En wat sê nog vir my like ek hoor hy skree maar like ek is net van like daarso en unfortunately it was my first line break really.
Mm.
But it's corners and I opened like I ran into contact and I was like,
Oh.
damn, that actually felt good.
Yeah.
And also against United, I scored my first try of the season,
Yeah.
which is also an open. I wouldn't say a hard try or easy try, but it was there. And against Kudus here at home. Oh yeah, you forgot the part of us, the second team going to the semis and how
Yeah.
it affected. So,
Okay, so you can briefly mention that and then just summarize the like 5 things that audience can take away for today.
so when we heard that we were going to play the semis, even though we lost the last game against Kudus,
Yeah.
we were going to play against them again. Like we played against them for like 3 times in a year. So
Yeah.
like jy moet mos nou kyk mos nou okay nee, eerste game was so, tweede game was so, derde game was so. So like that's baie analysis wat jy moet doen.
Yeah.
En Kudus is nie 'n maklike span nie. Hulle is 'n
Mm.
tuisspan.
Yeah.
Hulle is 'n baie tuisspan. Okay, die dag van die semis. Ons het terug want in die kleedkamer was. Ons like ons het heavy speeches gekry.
Yeah.
Like, ons gaan represent die dorp. I
Mm.
mean, Rehoboth word gekend van sy hardloop rugby.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not make it. It was a hard loss.
Mm.
I remember once like ons in die kleedkamer ingegaan het.
Mm.
Almal praat en goeie. Ek wil nie voor die audience of voor die crowd gee nie. So I just, round
Yeah.
of applause and said thank you. The minute I went into the changing room, I
Uh,
put my jersey over my head and just started crying.
yeah.
Because van ons gewees het, maar Kudus were a better team. at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
So what's the takeaway for that? And what are you taking into next season?
The takeaway is that there's a thing in rugby that you have to play for yourself, but also for the guy next to you.
Mm.
So jy kan nie elke keer wil aangaan as daai man iets fout maak of jy kan nie
Yeah.
regtig want ons almal maak foute. You
That's
can
so.
judge a person. So what I would say is that I will come back stronger no matter what. Obviously I have to still work on my tackling. It's Rome wasn't built in one day.
Yeah.
So mentally I'm preparing myself for next year's season because I know what to do better. I know what went wrong.
Yeah.
Conditioning and stuff. It's very important. Mostly my fitness and stuff.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, we'll see what the year holds for us next season.
Okay, cool, man. But yeah, it was great hearing from you and your rugby season and how it went down. So big ups on that season 1. So season 2, you guys must check Jeffrey out.
Uh,
Which jersey do you usually wear?
number 4
Number
and number
4.
6, maar op is het niet altijd als een slot. Ik
Okay.
ga nog altijd aan de boek die slot in is.
Yeah.
But
So you
number
must check
4 for
out
sure.
number 4 at the Rehoboth Rugby Club. But yeah, thanks, man. It was a great episode and just good to hear about the Rehoboth Rugby here in Namibia.
Yeah.
Cheers. Much love from BTY.
Deuces.